Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and if you guys haven't seen it already, I was on The Roommates. I had a really great conversation with Hafeez. He came all the way to Cleveland for me, which I am really appreciative of because I know Cleveland is not the most glamorous city in the world. So I had a great combo with him. If you haven't seen the full interview already, it's on The Roommates channel, so definitely check it out. But today specifically, I'm going to be going through some different clips through that video, some ones that I think really stood out that I think would be the most helpful for you. I know sometimes as a viewer, seeing a video that's an hour and a half long is like, oh my gosh, I do not have the time to sit down and watch a video that is an hour and a half long. So it's sometimes better to see it in different clips that maybe just pertain to you a little bit more and would be more helpful to you specifically. So like I said, just gonna be walking you guys through some of the clips, adding some more commentary on my end. Sometimes when you're sitting in an interview, just having a natural conversation with someone, you don't necessarily say everything that you wish you would have said. You look back and you think, oh, I wish I would have added in this or this. So just gonna be adding in some extra points from me, maybe things I wanted to talk about but didn't get to, maybe just elaborating on some things to give a little bit more clarity, all of that good stuff. So let's get started. I feel like a lot of women aren't what men want. If you want to be a 10, if you want a 10, you got to be a 10.
Yeah.
And I think people like to point fingers and say the things like there's no good men, but you have to be also someone that another person would want to be with. And I think there's a lack of self-awareness and accountability in that aspect, and it's just a constant pointing fingers and, you know, why isn't this working for me? You know, it's constant. So first of all, it's really weird watching yourself. I've never done a reaction video to myself, so that's interesting. The if you want a 10, you have to be a 10 thing is not just about the way that you look, okay? It's about what you bring to the table financially, emotionally. Are you a good partner to be with? Are you emotionally intelligent? Do you have the characteristics that would make someone want to be with you? Because you can be beautiful all day. I think a lot of girls get confused because they're stunningly beautiful, but they bring nothing else to the table. They don't have brains. They don't have any sort of substance. They've just relied on their beauty their entire life for everything that's come to them. So I think a lot of women are facing the fact that, okay, maybe just being beautiful is not enough. And I think it gets you to a certain point. Beauty only gets you so far though. And after a while, no matter who you are, when we get older, our beauty fades, right? You know, if you're 60, you're maybe not going to be as attractive as you were when you were 20. That's normal, that's natural, that's being a human. So I think it's important to develop some other skills or aspects about yourself that don't necessarily just revolve around the way that you look, because it's only going to get you so far. And there is such an unrealistic beauty standard now that people are spending all of their money on that. I was watching an episode of the Fresh and Fit podcast, and it's the only one I've ever watched, but it had the roommates on it, Chris and Hafeez, and they were talking to these OnlyFans girls. And Kevin Samuels pops in and he's like, what are you guys investing? And the girl says, yeah, in body contouring. When someone asks you what you're investing in, body contouring is not the answer you want to give, girls. If you're watching this, totally 100% you do whatever you want with your body, but understand that beauty is not everything. You know, you could be the most beautiful person in the world, and if you're dumber than a box of rocks and you're mean, you will not get as far as someone who has it all. So you have to be able to shape yourself and be a person that someone else would want to be with, because you can be beautiful or you can be rich or you can be smart, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be a good partner also. So something to consider. I think everyone likes to point fingers and blame it on someone else, but no one wants to look at what they're doing wrong and understand that, okay, maybe I'm contributing to the fact that things aren't going my way. Because at the end of the day, you can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do. So if you're not getting the outcome out of a situation that you want, you are the only one to blame for that. So just something to consider. Keep in mind, you are responsible for yourself and the things that you do and the outcomes that you get out of a situation. And if you work hard, if you're willing to put in the work and do what it takes to get what you want, you will have a better outcome than someone who is not doing those things. So on to the next clip. Very interesting to hear also from different types of girls also, because I think depending on where you live in the world, it's also very different.
Yeah.
I'm in the Midwest, I'm in Ohio, so I feel like the girls here are very much more like down to earth, traditional. Let me point out that that is not always the case. I know plenty of girls in Ohio Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, whatever else is in the Midwest that have this entitled princess mentality, I want to live a life of luxury sort of view on things. So by no means am I saying every single girl in the Midwest is a good girl that wants to settle down and have a family and whatever. That's not the case. You can't generalize an entire area like that. So I don't want it to come across like that's what I was doing. I don't even think anyone commented that. At the end of the day, I think a lot of you guys see content or you see a video and it has the clickbaity title, 99% of women think this or want this, and you guys believe it to such an extreme that then when someone else has a different idea, you guys call that person a liar. I get that a lot. Like, just because my views are different or some other girls have different views than me doesn't make me a liar, okay? Not 100% of women think the same way about every single thing. If that was the case, there'd be nothing, no one would argue about anything. So that's clearly not the case. I can only speak from my personal experience and the things that I see around me, the things that I see girls doing. Not every girl is the same. Some girls want that luxurious lifestyle and only care about that and will only date a guy that makes $1 million. The same way some girls will only date a guy that's 6'5". And then there's other girls like me, I don't care. I dated a guy that was 5'6" and it didn't bother me. I didn't care at all. And there's plenty of other girls like that too. So for all of you to sit there and say, every girl thinks this and 100% of girls in the world think this way is just ridiculous. It's not true. So I don't want you guys to fall into this trap of believing, all the toxic and negative things that people say about women, because not all women are like that. Just wanted to point that out. That was really long-winded, but I'm gonna keep going with this clip. Compared to like a Miami or an LA. So I feel like a lot of the guys that bring girls onto their channel, like Fresh and Fit, they're in Miami. So the culture is very different there than here. And a lot of my viewers are from, the Midwest or places that aren't necessarily like Miami or in LA. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I definitely think, the more nuance to the conversation is true because, the culture in Ohio is not the culture in New York City. New York City is not Los Angeles. Los Angeles is not Phoenix. Phoenix is not, Montana. Montana is not Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. But there is at times like American culture.
Yes.
Where like regardless of where you're at, there's probably things that you lean towards or you believe or you have a certain worldview. So there's a general culture, right? So I think I guess one of my questions to you is that since you're interacting with women and you have a lot of female friends, how would you describe from your experience what women today, generally speaking, are like? Because I feel like there's like multiple narratives, right? There's like whether they're like these all about careers or whether they're, hot girl summer and not trying to settle down or whether they really want to settle down, but they can't find this kind of guy or they want to find a guy and there's expectations that they have that might be unrealistic. So from your personal experience, how would you describe the culture of women today?
I would say that it's a mix of all of those things. And I think it really depends on the girl. But I think social media is so focused on the hot girl summer, the I don't need a man, the, independent girl type thing. Mm-hmm. So then other girls see that and they feel like they should be doing that too. And it's just like a domino effect from girl to girl because you're seeing what you should be. And I think that's kind of, the impact that modern feminism has had on girls today and social media in general is just girls thinking they need to be a certain way to be approved by society, when in reality, there's so many other ways you can be or so many other routes you can take that are just as valuable.
Yeah. So how would you describe yourself?
I want to touch on that really quick because I think Hafeez made a really good point about American culture as a whole, and more specifically, social media. It is what it is. Social media is just going to continue to be a bigger part of all of our lives, I think, as we move forward. That's just kind of how things are, and that's totally understandable. But I think it does create this very unrealistic standard for everyone, for men, for women, and it can be a good thing, but it can also be a really bad thing. Some of the negatives don't get talked about as much as the positives. So, there's this grind culture, this hustle culture, this work nonstop culture, and while that might work for some people, it doesn't work for everyone. The same way that there's this idea that everyone has to live this luxurious lifestyle or crazy, you know, expensive everything, luxury everything to be approved by society or to fit in. And the reality is, not everyone is going to live a luxurious lifestyle. That is what is luxurious about it, is the fact that it's not as attainable as an average life, or what even is an average life at this point, I really don't know. But the point of it being a luxurious lifestyle is that not a lot of people get to do it. It's the same way as a luxury handbag, you know, an Hermes Birkin bag. It's a luxury bag because not a lot of people in the world have it. It's a sought after, highly sought after product that then makes it luxurious because not everyone has it. You know, is a bag you get from Forever 21 luxurious? No, because pretty much anyone can go and buy that for $15. I think girls specifically have this incredibly high standard for men and their life in general because of this luxury life that's being portrayed on social media all the time. That's why all these girls want guys to fly them out, pay for their plane ticket, buy them a expensive bag, take them to a hotel, buy them all these, you know, 5-star restaurant dinners. And the fact is that not every woman is going to get that. If you want those things, you need to be a highly sought after woman. And in order to be a highly sought after woman, you know, you have to be attractive or desired by the highest caliber men. And if we're looking at it realistically, there's not enough of the two to go around for everybody, right? So that's why it's so important, you guys, that you find someone whose values, whose goals in life, and whose idea of success aligns with yours. So I just want to touch on that. I know, you know, you see it all over social media and you think it's reality and you think it's what everyone has. Not everyone's going to Turks and Caicos every weekend, all right? There's a very select few people that are doing that, and unfortunately, not everyone in the world is going to get that opportunity. Understand that yes, there are girls that only will go after guys like that, or guys that can provide that type of lifestyle. But to be honest, guys, that's not necessarily maybe always the girl that you would want. Everyone has a preference. Everyone is allowed to have a preference. I'm not saying all the girls like that are awful people, because it's okay to want a nice lifestyle, but to rely on someone else for that is a little bit silly. Just keep that in mind. I'm very traditional, but also I like to have a mix of both. Like, I'm clearly doing well on YouTube. I'm making a good amount of money on my own. I don't necessarily need someone else's income, but I want to be with a guy who has the same values and goals in life as I do. And I think that's kind of the most important thing for people looking to find a partner, is just finding someone whose, you know, values and aspirations and goals and idea of success kind of aligns with yours.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said, you just have to be the type of person that you would want to attract. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. If you liked this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. The full interview I did with Hafeez is on the Roommates YouTube, so definitely be sure to check that out if you haven't already. But I hope you guys enjoyed me kind of talking through these clips. These are things that I don't necessarily talk about a lot on my channel, so it was just really nice to sit down with someone who's familiar with all the topics that we discussed. And I think it's also really beneficial for you guys to get a man and a woman's point of view during our conversation, because I think we both brought up some different but very good points. It's something to consider if you're watching as a man or a woman. I think it's just really helpful for you to be able to see both sides. So something that typically doesn't happen. Normally it's just men talking or women talking and everyone hates each other and it's very toxic and negative. So I hope that was a breath of fresh air for a lot of you guys. It definitely was for me, and I really enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of these videos. I would be happy to do them. Also, would love to do some collabs with some other content creators, or some interviews, just some discussions with some other people. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in as well. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.